everyone, welcome back to my channel. So what I thought I would do today is do a little talk time on how not to overeat during the holidays. It doesn't mean you can't eat, it doesn't mean that you have to eat less necessarily, but making better choices will really help. So these are my tips and tricks for making the best choices you possibly can so that you can avoid gaining any weight. Because we all know that it's so easy to gain, but it's super hard to lose, especially as you get older. So, I mean, I'm in my 50s and I definitely try not to put any extra pounds on because I know that it's really hard to lose it. And, you know, I mean, I've never been able to really eat whatever I wanted. I've always had to watch my weight if I wanted to maintain my weight that I am now, which actually I'm thinner now in my 50s than I was when I was in my teens. So I really feel like I have a handle on it, and I'd like to kind of fill you in on some of the things that I do that make it so that I can still really enjoy myself, but and not feel deprived and not overeat, but I can still have a good amount of food. So what I do is on a holiday, I start off eating something for breakfast because typically the meals don't start until maybe 2. And so if I eat something for breakfast, I'll eat usually some fruit, some non-starchy vegetables, and some lean protein. So maybe like some pineapple, some mixed vegetables that are grilled, and a little bit of egg whites. And so that will hold me over until the holiday meal starts. Because if you don't eat anything, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I want to save up, my hunger for, the Christmas dinner or, whatever it is. And the problem with that is then you're ravenous. And when you're ravenous, you make poor choices. You eat too much of all the wrong things. So if you can eat a little bit a couple hours before, then you're gonna be way better off. So the next thing I like to do is to measure. Measure, measure, measure. I always preach about this in all my videos because it really does work. So if you can find like a 1/4 of a cup measure or a 1/3 of a cup measure and walk around with that as a scooper and use it for each thing, then you're definitely not gonna overeat. What you're gonna do is you're gonna be able to try a little bit of everything, but it's not gonna be a huge portion. But once you get it all on your plate, then you're gonna feel like you've got enough because you've been able to, pick and choose what you want, but it's a normal portion. So if you can do a 1/4 cup measure or a 1/3 of a cup measure and use it as your scooper, then that will really help. So then another thing that I like to do is use a smaller plate. I know people hate that when they hear that because I'm sure you've heard it before, but it really does help. And if you use a plate that's not as heavy, it also helps because then you can actually feel the weight of your food. And you know that when it gets heavy and it's not a very, it's a light plate, that you've probably gotten enough. But if you can do those two things, then it's gonna help as well because it's gonna make you feel like you have more food on this smaller plate and it looks like, a large portion. One of the other things that really helps me too is to drink a lot of fluids, whether it be, water, lemon water, some of the low calorie, vitamin waters or bai drinks or the bubblies or the stevia drinks that are all like super low in calorie or no calorie. Sometimes the ones that are carbonated will kind of give you that more full feeling. I don't really drink a lot of carbonated drinks on a daily basis, but I think during the holidays they do kind of help. So if you can always be drinking something that's either low calorie or no calorie, it will stop you from eating a little too much as well. One of the things that I've learned from my daughter is to eat slower. I definitely have always been the type of person that, I'll eat pretty quickly. And so over the years, as she's gotten older, she's always eaten super slowly. And sometimes it's actually almost irritating. But now that I see, what she does and I eat a little bit slower, I feel like by the time I finish my meal, I've eaten enough. So what I try to do is just eat a little slower, but also take a little smaller bites. Don't put as much on your fork. And it ends up feeling like you've had a lot by the end of the time that you've eaten because you've been eating for a while. So if you can just take smaller bites and eat a little slower, for me, that really helps. Being in the proper mindset is super helpful too. So if you can kind of condition yourself to think, I don't really want to overeat, and I don't want to feel, like I have indigestion and have a stomach ache, because I know I went through that for years. I mean, I would eat something, it would feel really good, and then I'd feel so terrible for hours later. So if you're in the mindset of, I'm gonna enjoy myself and I'm really gonna try different things, but I'm gonna do it in the proper portions, then that will really help keep you in the mindset, because you don't want the food to control you. You are in control. Don't let the food control you. And I know that it's really easy to do. I mean, you look at it and you get emotional, and all of a sudden you're in love with this, piece of pie. I mean, it seems ridiculous, but it's really true. I mean, people really get emotional about food. So that's how, food addictions start, and people can't help themselves. And willpower is really hard. So if you are in a mindset where you say to yourself, I'm in control, and I'm going to do what I can to enjoy myself, but the bottom line is I'm in control, and I'm in the mindset that I am in control. Desserts are like the hardest thing for people, I think, to resist. So what I suggest is, if you can make a healthy dessert that you like and you feel would be, super satisfying for you. I did a couple videos on some desserts that are really good. They're lower in calories and fat and carbs, and some have no flour, some have almond flour. Most of them have some chocolate chips or something sweet in them. So they're really satisfying, but they're not super high in calories or carbohydrates. So I try to keep my carbs low. That's what works for me. But if you can do something for a dessert for yourself that you know that you would really like, I would definitely suggest that. And if you're going to eat dessert and you're going to eat some of the traditional desserts, just eat a smaller piece. Don't eat a full size piece. That will really help. And then also, if you have maybe some fresh fruit, you could do fresh fruit, because that's always really sweet and it tastes really good. You can drizzle a little bit of honey or maple syrup on it, which really helps. And then if you wanted to do it over maybe a quarter of a cup of ice cream, or maybe just put a little bit of whipped cream on top of it, you're getting that sweetness, but you're not getting all the fat, calories, and carbohydrates. So if you can try some of those little tricks, I think it really does help. One of the things that makes me crazy, though, too, is when you are eating a certain way and you're with a lot of people, and people will question why you're not eating something, or why you're not eating more of something, or why you're eating the way you're eating. That can make me crazy. So I think it's funny when people who are overeating are making fun of you for, making better choices. And it always seems to be that way. It's not like the people who are making better choices are making fun of the people who are overeating, right? So don't let people pressure you into eating something that you don't want, or that you shouldn't. Because I think that can really play a large role in pushing people into doing things that they never wanted to do in the first place. So don't let other people influence you in a negative way. Just stand up for yourself and just say, this is the way I eat, and it works really well for me. You ought to try it. Maybe it will work for you too. So let's say you eat really well. You measured everything out. You made the best choices you possibly could make, and you still don't feel that well, like your stomach hurts, because you probably ate more than you normally do. My suggestion for that is digestive enzymes. If you take a couple of these, either right before, during, or right after you've eaten, they do work. They really help settle your stomach. You're not going to have as much of a stomach ache, and it's actually better for you, because it helps your body digest it. It gives the enzymes that your body may not have enough of to break down the food. So it's actually better for you. So whenever you can, if you're feeling like you have a stomach ache, whether it be on a regular day or a holiday, I would say have some digestive enzymes around, and that'll really help ease the pain of the stomach aches, because like I said, I definitely have experienced that, and I can't stand that feeling. So you can get them at Sprouts, you can get them at Whole Foods, and they're really, really helpful. Those are some of the things that really work for me. I mean, I definitely have been doing these kinds of things for years, and it's really, really helped me. I mean, it's really rare that I put on any weight during the holidays. My weight pretty much stays the same year round. I mean, you are in control, and don't let what other people say to you influence you in a negative way. And, you know, just really try to stay focused on your mindset and what you want, you know, to have that day, and don't, you know, don't feel deprived. I mean, I don't want you to feel deprived. I want you to feel like you were able to try everything, but in, you know, smaller portions, but you got to taste everything and really enjoy yourself. So that was the purpose of the video today. So I hope you liked this video, you guys. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And I do totally enjoy your comments. I really appreciate the comments that you guys have left for me. You're very sweet. If you ring the bell, it'll notify you of my videos that are uploaded every Tuesday. And if you know anybody who's interested in the type of videos that I make, please share them with them. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year. Bye-bye.